If you bought a TV 10 or 15 years ago, there's a good chance it's still working today. Maybe it isn't the brightest. Maybe it doesn't support 4K or HDR, but it still turns on, displays a picture, and does exactly what you expect. Now compare that to many modern televisions. They're thinner, brighter, smarter, packed with AI features, loaded with streaming apps, and capable of producing some of the best picture quality we've ever seen. So why are more owners saying the same thing online? My TV is only a few years old, and it's already having problems. Spend a little time reading discussions on Reddit, AVS forum, or manufacturer support communities, and you'll notice a pattern. People aren't just complaining about hardware failures, they're talking about software updates that change the interface, streaming apps that stop working smoothly, advertising becoming more aggressive, features disappearing after updates, repair costs that don't make financial sense. The biggest change in the TV industry isn't picture quality. It's that televisions have quietly become computers. And like every connected device, they now face problems older TVs never had. This doesn't mean modern TVs are bad. Far from it. Picture quality has improved dramatically over the last decade. But there are new trade-offs every buyer should understand before spending their money. Today's video looks at the biggest long-term problems owners are starting to notice. Using information from independent testing, manufacturer documentation, repair professionals, consumer reports, RTINGS, and thousands of real owner experiences shared across Reddit and AVS forum. Let's start with the issue that almost nobody thinks about when buying a TV. Problem 8. Your TV depends on software more than ever years ago. A television's main job was simple: display an image. Today, it's expected to be a streaming device, a voice assistant, a gaming hub, a smart home controller, a personalized recommendation engine, an advertising platform. That means software has become just as important as hardware. The upside is obvious: new apps, bug fixes, security updates, improved features. The downside? Your experience can change overnight. Manufacturers regularly update their operating systems. Sometimes those updates improve performance. Sometimes they introduce bugs. Sometimes they reorganize menus that users had already learned. Owner forums are filled with discussions about updates changing settings, altering the home screen, or temporarily affecting app performance. This isn't unique to one brand. Google TV, WebOS, Tizen, Roku TV, and Fire TV have all received major interface changes over the years. The television you buy today may not operate exactly the same 2 years from now. Problem 7. More ads are appearing on smart TVs. Here's something many buyers don't notice until after setup. Modern smart TVs increasingly display sponsored recommendations and promotional content on their home screens. Manufacturers argue that these recommendations help users discover new movies and shows. Many owners see them differently. Instead of opening directly to your apps, some TVs now highlight promoted content first. Depending on the platform, you may also see featured channels, suggested subscriptions, or sponsored recommendations. The amount varies by operating system. Some interfaces remain relatively clean. Others are much more content-focused. This doesn't usually affect picture quality, but it does change the ownership experience. Many enthusiasts eventually connect dedicated streaming devices like Apple TV, Nvidia Shield, or Google TV Streamer, partly because they prefer a different interface. It's something few people think about when comparing TVs in the store. Problem 6. Repairing TVs is becoming less practical. Modern televisions are remarkably thin. That's great for design, but it also creates challenges when something goes wrong. In many cases, the display panel itself represents the majority of the TV's total cost. If that panel fails outside warranty, repairing it often costs nearly as much as buying a new television. Repair technicians frequently report that power boards, main boards, and backlight components can often be replaced economically. Panel damage is a different story. That's one reason many damaged TVs are replaced rather than repaired. Another factor is parts availability. As product cycles become shorter, replacement parts for older models may become harder to source. This doesn't mean modern TVs are unreliable. It simply means they're less repair-friendly than many older electronics. Before buying, it's worth checking the warranty and understanding what it actually covers. Problem 5. TV lifespans depend more on usage than ever before. People often ask, how many years should a modern TV last? There's no single answer. Usage patterns matter far more today than many buyers realize. A television used a few hours every evening experiences very different wear compared with one running all day in a busy household. OLED owners, for example, should be aware of image retention and burn-in precautions, although modern panels include several protective technologies that have greatly reduced the risk during normal mixed use. LED and mini-LED TVs don't face burn-in concerns in the same way, but they rely on complex backlight systems that can age over time. Heat, brightness settings, ventilation, and daily operating hours all influence long-term reliability. The important point is this: the lifespan of a television isn't determined only by the brand. It's also shaped by how it's used and maintained. Problem 4. Streaming apps age faster than the TV itself. One of the biggest surprises for people upgrading from older televisions is that the display can still be excellent while the software starts feeling outdated. 5 or 6 years ago, many smart TVs ran Netflix, YouTube, Hulu, Disney Plus, and Prime Video without any issues. Today, owners of those same TVs often report slower menus, longer loading times, and in some cases, apps that are no longer updated. This isn't because the screen has worn out. It's because streaming services constantly evolve. Apps become more demanding, security requirements change, operating systems eventually stop receiving major updates. Manufacturers typically provide software support for several years, but not forever. That's one reason home theater enthusiasts often recommend separating the display from the streaming experience. Instead of replacing an otherwise excellent television, many people simply connect a modern streaming device, such as an Apple TV 4K, Google TV Streamer, Roku Ultra, or Amazon Fire TV Stick. A relatively inexpensive external device can make an older TV feel new again. The lesson is simple. Don't assume the built-in software will remain cutting-edge for the entire life of the television. Problem 3. Privacy is becoming a bigger part of TV ownership. Most people think of a television as a display. In reality, today's smart TVs are connected computers. Many include voice assistants, internet connectivity, personalized recommendations, automatic software updates, and in some cases, features designed to understand viewing habits. Many smart TV platforms use automatic content recognition, ACR, technology. ACR can identify what's being shown on the screen to help power recommendations, usage statistics, or advertising features. Manufacturers generally allow users to manage or disable many of these settings during setup or later in the privacy menu. The problem is that many owners simply press accept without reviewing the options. Consumer Reports and several privacy researchers have repeatedly encouraged buyers to spend a few minutes reviewing privacy settings after installing a new TV. Doing so won't change the picture quality, but it may change how much information the television shares. Problem 2. Firmware updates can help or create new problems. Most software updates are beneficial. They fix bugs, improve compatibility, patch security issues. Sometimes they even improve picture processing or gaming features. But firmware updates can also introduce unexpected changes. Over the past few years, owners across multiple brands have reported updates that altered menu layouts, changed default picture settings, affected HDMI compatibility with certain devices, or temporarily introduced bugs that required later fixes. To be clear, these issues are not unique to one manufacturer. Samsung, LG, Sony, TCL, Hisense, Roku TV, Google TV, and Fire TV platforms have all experienced occasional update-related complaints. followed by later fixes. That doesn't mean you should avoid updates. Security patches and stability improvements remain important. It simply means that a smart TV is no longer a set-it-and-forget-it appliance. It's software-driven hardware that continues evolving long after you bring it home. If you rely on your TV for daily use, it's worth checking update notes and owner feedback before installing a major firmware release when possible. Problem 1. People expect a TV to last like the ones they bought 15 years ago. This is the biggest misunderstanding in today's television market. Older TVs were relatively simple, few connected features, very little software, far fewer components. Today's televisions are dramatically more capable. Mini LED backlights can contain thousands of tiny LEDs. OLED panels include sophisticated pixel management systems. Modern processors perform AI-based upscaling in real time. Operating systems run dozens of background processes. Voice assistants stay ready for commands. Wireless radios remain connected to the internet. In other words, modern TVs do far more than older TVs ever did. That increased capability also means greater complexity. Complex products aren't automatically less reliable, but they have more components, more software, and more potential points of failure than the televisions many people remember from a decade ago. That's why experts increasingly recommend buying the TV that best fits your needs today, instead of assuming it will remain technologically current for the next 15 years. A well-chosen television can absolutely provide many years of excellent performance. Just don't expect the ownership experience to remain completely unchanged over time. How to make your TV last longer. While no television lasts forever, a few habits can help maximize its lifespan. Keep ventilation openings clear so heat can escape. Avoid placing the TV in direct sunlight or tightly enclosed cabinets. Install firmware updates after reading the release notes, especially if they address stability or security. Use a quality surge protector to reduce the risk of damage from power fluctuations. If you own an OLED TV, leave built-in panel maintenance features enabled and avoid displaying static images for extremely long periods. And if your smart TV begins feeling slow after several years, consider adding an external streaming device before replacing the television itself. In many cases, the screen still has plenty of life left. What this means for buyers in 2026. The goal isn't to avoid smart TVs. You really can't. Almost every mainstream television sold today includes internet-connected software. Instead, buy with realistic expectations. Choose a model with a strong track record for picture quality. Read long-term reviews, not just launch day impressions. Pay attention to software support, operating system stability, and owner experiences after a year or two of use. Those factors often matter just as much as brightness or contrast. Final thoughts. Modern televisions are better than ever in many ways. Picture quality has improved dramatically. HDR is more impressive. Gaming performance has reached incredible levels. Even mid-range TVs now deliver features that were once reserved for flagship models. But televisions have also become more like smartphones and computers. They're constantly connected. They're updated regularly. They rely on software just as much as hardware. That's the change many buyers don't realize until years after they make their purchase. The smartest shoppers aren't just comparing screen sizes or display technology anymore. They're looking at long-term software support, repairability, operating systems, privacy controls, and real-world owner experiences. Because the best TV isn't simply the one that looks amazing on day one. It's the one that still delivers a great experience years after the excitement of unboxing is over.